We're actually going to be crossing over to our guest who's joining us on the broadcast right now, Mr. Jai Bharadwaj, who's the founder and editor-in-chief of the Australia Today. Mr. Bharadwaj, thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18 as we cover what's taking place in both Canada and the United States when it comes to separatist attacks. How do you see the recent incidents?
See, it's very concerning. And after firebombing of Indian consulate in San Francisco, Australian authorities are on high alert, as we understand right now. Concerning is the least what we can say. It's unprecedented that Indian High Commission, Indian consulate, or its officials are being openly threatened. The posters and posts are floating on social media, especially on TikTok, for calling decisive action. And this decisive action is not for protest. This is not for making a human chain or something. This decisive action, they are calling for physically harming Indian officials here in Australia. And as yet, we haven't heard anything from Australian authorities, be it Department of Foreign Affairs, which is responsible for well-being of diplomats here in Australia. We haven't heard from Australian Federal Police or local Victorian or ACT Police. They are yet to respond to our queries about these threats to these officials. One social media post, which was one of the most concerning, in fact, it was brought to our notice by the Australian security agencies, that it was asking to do the same what has happened in San Francisco. So he probably was not across what has happened there in US. Then we had exchange of that video which shows how it has been firebombed. And after that, probably when they understood the severity of this incident, probably there has been a meeting which we are given to understand that they are making security plans for both Indian consulate in Melbourne and High Commission in Canberra. So the wheel is churning. However, we haven't heard anything as yet which can say that the crackdown on these Khalistan extremists is happening here in Australia. That is very concerning. If you do not strike on the root cause of what is happening, then probably these are band-aid remedies which Australian authorities are right now trying to take.
So what is the action that you think needs to be taken? Are we talking about a ban? Are we talking about arrests? What needs to be done to ensure that crackdown?
See, of course, everyone follows the law of land. Australia does not allow you to threaten anybody. The people who are responsible for all these posters and attacks on Indian. In January, the Australia Today reported there were a number of attacks on Indian Australians, number of attacks on temples, number of threats given to journalists and diplomats as well. No action as of now, no arrest has been done by Australian police, be it of NSW state or Victoria state or Queensland. When we talk about crackdown, why just recently in Australia, the flag of ISIS was banned. It's a terror organization. Fairly, everyone was very happy and supportive of that decision by government. However, when it comes to the terror of Khalistan goons, Khalistan extremists firebombing, nobody is acting on that. Why can't Australian authorities or US or Canada or UK authorities take these attacks or threats very seriously? People have moved from their homes and living 400, 500 kilometers away just to avoid the wrath of these Khalistan goons. Why is that no action has been taken? In Melbourne itself, one family has fled because they were threatened by these Khalistan extremists of really dire consequences towards their kids, young kids. So what do? They fled from there and are now living in regional area where they think they are safe. action should be taken. But as of now, authorities are saying there is insignificant proofs for that to take any action.
You're
So
saying
these
that a family in
social
Melbourne,
liberal-
an Indian family in Melbourne, they fled because they were receiving threats, and you're saying that no action has been taken on this?
That's right. They have to move from their house in one of the western suburb in Melbourne to or one of the regional area. I'm sorry, I can't name where they are living right now, but they have to move because of the threat to their son, who was writing something on social media and opposing Khalistan propaganda. So this has happened. No action has been taken. These facts are serious, and there is a lot of anger in Indian Australian community why action is not being taken.
It's interesting that you say all of this, because recently we just saw a very successful visit of the Prime Minister in Australia. Now, at that point, Anthony Albanese as well had said that strict action would be taken on elements. And of course, this was in reference to the separatist attacks that we've seen take place specific to Australia. But he's saying that strict action would be taken on elements that disrupt the harmony and peace of Australia. So then does that mean that nothing really has taken place post that to ensure that disruption of harmony doesn't take place?
See, I can tell you one thing very clearly.
Okay.
I'm very happy when these assurances come from the highest office of Prime Minister.
Absolutely.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese have said in as many words, action will be taken. We take security, safety of Indian Australians, especially temples, Hindus, and everyone very seriously. What then? Nothing. I'm sick and tired of these words, hollow words, which mean absolutely nothing unless action is being taken. You must have seen the videos of how people who are holding Tiranga at Federation Square in heart of Melbourne were beaten by these Khalistan goons. There are several videos. I can submit hundred of videos which are showing the four faces of Khalistan extremists. However, nobody has been arrested in that case even. So how will you take action? A temple is vandalized. Minister come, MPs come, they help you to clean up the walls and everything. However, no action has been taken. Nobody has been arrested. When it comes to concrete action, I find it really frustrating that Australian authorities are taking it too easy. And I can tell you that 35 years back, same way Canadian authorities took these Khalistan propagandists, extremists, not seriously, and Kanishka bombing happened. And that's what we are seeing. One step forward is yesterday's incident of firebombing of San Francisco Consulate of India. We don't know what will happen on Saturday. Coming Saturday, there is a call by Khalistani extremists to come to Consulate and do the same what they have done in America. So let's see. We are just waiting. We will be reporting. However, the Australian authorities have to really wake up to the reality.
Have you been able to speak to the Indian community in Australia and understand how they feel about all of these incidents that are taking place?
Sorry, can you come again, please?
Sure. Have you been, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. So have you been able to speak to members of the Indian community in Australia to be able to understand how these separatist attacks are being perceived?
So they are very angry. I'm not talking about only Hindu community, be it Sikh community members, be it Muslim community members or Christian community members of Indian origin. They are very upset and angry with these extremist elements. They are asking and urging Australian authorities to take action so that they can live in peace. The Sikh community members whom I have to talk, they said I was a regular, one of the lady told me that she was regular visitor to the Gurdwara. However, because of the Khalistan propagandists standing right in front of that and just bombarding their propaganda, whosoever visiting there, she has stopped going to Gurdwara. This is pathetic situation that I can't visit my Gurdwara just because Khalistan propagandists don't let you go without that pamphlet in your hand. This is happening right here in Melbourne, Sydney, or Brisbane, or Adelaide. The same way when Khalistani elements announced their rally for coming Saturday, a number of Indian Australians have written emails to authorities, be it law enforcement authorities or civil authorities. They are taking things in their own hands. They are urging, they are writing, they are providing proofs that please take action. This is not the Australia which we want to live in. I mean, one of the officials I was talking this morning, she told me that Melbourne is third most livable place in the world. This city is so good. However, now this city is known that where Khalistanis attack everyone when they go there. Is this the name which Australian authorities want to give to Australia or Melbourne? If that is so, then it's a really concerning situation.
Valid questions that you're raising, Mr. Bharadwaj. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNN.